Hello, soul friends and family. Welcome back to another episode of Inspired Sovereignty Radio.
Hey, friends. Hey, Kimberly.
Hi, Ivy.
Hey. So, everybody, we're back. Good episode. What we talking about?
We're talking about the poop chute. We're talking about enemas.
Yeah.
We're going to learn some things, and we're going to teach some things.
Yeah. So, welcome to the butt show, the shit show today. Of course, you guys know I am a colon hydrotherapist, so I've dealt with a lot of assholes. Just kidding. Okay, so in this job, we keep a lot of humor because it's uncomfortable for a lot of people. So if we can be laughing, everything gets a lot better. So
it's a shit ton better.
Exactly, a shit ton better. So a while back, we do Instagram lives now, generally every Wednesday night. We do them a lot, like with Q&As, a lot of stuff that's more so like gut health, cleansing, consciousness, holistic healing, because this shit matters right now.
Shit matters.
The shit like it's always mattered, and it's always mattered from a place of like, let's become well, let's become vital, let's do good stuff for ourselves, let's heal ourselves. You know, it's always come from a place of like, you know, moving forward and good things. But now, in this current global environment, during this apocalypse, cleaning ourselves out is literally a survival mechanism now.
Amen.
So that is why we are sharing this wisdom and this knowledge and this practice that you can do at home for nearly free. And it's almost kind of, it's pretty much, I mean, functionality, it's the exact same as coming to a professional like me and paying me really good darn money to make you poop and to clean out all of the extra poop that's stuck inside of you. We want to teach you how to do this all at home, again, next to free, in your own time, in your own space, in the most safe of ways. And so Wednesday nights, we've been doing these lives, and we get lots of questions about enemas and about how to do this and what's the difference of a colonic and an enema and all of these types of questions. And then there's also a lot of like, that sounds good, but I'm freaking scared of what you're saying. That sounds really uncomfortable. I don't want to like, I just, right? So a lot of people have that type of feel about colon cleansing, and that's so completely understandable. I remember in 2012 when I had my first 2 colonics scheduled. Like they were scheduled maybe a week or 2 in advance, and I couldn't even bring myself to think about it. I just knew that I had to show up on that day. But like I couldn't even think about it. Like I would not even allow myself to because it was so uncomfortable. You know? Yeah. So we all hear you if you're like, oh my God, a butt episode. I'm going to learn how to do stuff to my body. We understand that this is uncomfortable.
Yeah. And some people are not just uncomfortable with the whole process, but what comes out. Like we heard some feedback that's like, I don't want to see what comes out in the toilet. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Oh,
you feel like a warrior.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And so many times I've given so many people colonics in the last 10 years, and often I'm people's first experience of doing anything like this.
What a great first experience.
Oh God, seriously, people always tell me that they're like, and I'm not trying to fluff my own feathers because I'm not that type of person that fluffs my own feathers, but like people always being like, you're so gentle and you're so safe, and thank you so much for making me laugh.
Agreed.
Right? Where was I going with that though? Oh, but with people's first times, it's like, it's really, really sacred work, you know, and it's really like, it is life-changing work. You immediately start feeling so completely different in your body, in like literally like the best of ways that people need.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
Yeah. And where I was going with that was like often people they'd come in and they'd be like, I don't want to see what's going to come out, because in the medical equipment that I have, you see everything coming out and it goes through this illuminated tube. And it's really great. You see it, you don't have to smell it. You don't have to generally touch it. You know, it's just really great. But people are always like, I don't want to see it.
I don't understand that.
But right. Because, and I think that there's actually like a resistance to seeing our own shit. Like, and I mean that metaphorically, and physically. It's like, I don't want to see my own shit. I don't want to know what comes out. When it's like, but then once we actually start the process and people start feeling this experience and feeling lighter and seeing what's coming out, and they're always like they don't want to look at it, and then they're just like, that came out of me.
Yeah.
What?
I remember,
oh my God, it's so kind of what?
I remember for me, I was like, there better be a boot and like an oar, and I wanted like a bowling ball to come out. I was like, I want to see some shit. Yeah. I want to see some shit. I didn't have a boot or anything, or soft, nothing, just poop.
Yeah. But I mean, we often see very interesting things coming out, as in the quality, the texture, the color, mucus, yeast, parasites, and more, so
Yeah.
But regardless, conversation today is just simply, and we're going to try to keep this as a shorter, very succinct episode, to use as a resource for people. Okay. But we just want to talk about doing enemas at home. Why, how, with what. We just want to touch on all of the most important things. So this episode is a resource. And also, part of this episode, for cleansing our bodies, what we're putting into our mouths, very, very important. Okay. So enough water, fruits and veggies, but really like water and psyllium husks and bentonite clay. The psyllium husks and the bentonite clay is such a necessary protocol for rehabilitating the whole digestive tract. So that means the whole tube from your mouth hole to your booty hole, that 30, 31, 32, 33 foot long tube. We are going to rehabilitate the whole thing, and drinking at least a gallon of water a day, purified water, good water, ideally Kangen water, but drinking the best water quality that you can. Taking psyllium and bentonite on a daily basis, so necessary. So if you go all the way, all the way back to episode number 34, that is where you're going to find the episode that is my complete conversation, everything that needs to be said about the psyllium husks and bentonite cleanse. Very, very safe for most everybody. It's very appropriate. It's very gentle, but it, oh my goodness, works magic. So please, if you haven't checked that out, and if you want to participate in enemas, if you want to cleanse your body, please go back to episode 34. And I believe that there's 2 episodes right next to that episode, which also go into if you're going to cleanse, these are the things that you need to know beforehand. And I think that there's also an episode talking about 10 kind of different, very gentle ways to cleanse, of just incorporating different ideas and protocols into your life. So those episodes all exist. Again, episode 34 and the other 2 episodes might be right beside it.
They are.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah.
So those resources are there for you guys. And if when we're doing the Instagram lives and the Q&As, some of those that are really good, we're bringing them here into podcast land. So we're bringing the audio into all the podcast apps, and we're bringing the audio and the video from the Instagram lives and putting it onto our YouTube channel. And we're probably also going to put it up on our Facebook page. So if you also want a bigger conversation about things having to do with this, please go to the episode. We'll make sure that it's in the show notes of the Instagram live that we just did, because that Instagram live is what is now inspiring this episode, because people want to know, okay, well, how do I do this at home? So we want to give you the rundown of how do we do this at home if you don't have professional equipment like myself. What do we do? And then also want to let you all know that coming up very soon, we are going to have a group coaching program to cleanse. And then also this can be purchased as a standalone, basically very gentle beginner's program of how do we actually clean house in the body? How do we regain functionality of our digestive tract and our bowels? How do we clean out our pooper? Because most of us have 5 to 25 pounds easily of old junk in the trunk. So this is what all these conversations are about right now. Yeah?
Poop.
I was going to be anything that you want to add? Poop.
Poop.
Yes. So why are we having this conversation? Oh, and hi everybody. Also, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode. We're on YouTube, so if you want, please subscribe to that YouTube channel, because we're going to have more than the podcast going up there. We're going to have once we really get on top of how we're creating and truly get in our flow, we've got really good educational, hilarious videos coming. Also meditations, probably also some yin yoga.
Yeah.
Right? We got really good stuff on its way to you. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Inspired Sovereignty, so that you reap the benefits of what we're doing.
Yeah. We're a lot of transition happening right now. And when we think we're done with the transition, then another transition comes in, and it's transition after transition. It's all these wheels. and just when I think that something's going to open up, something else happens. So we're navigating a lot of waters right now, and it's been crazy and fun, and we're discovering a lot about ourselves and about what we want to put forward. So it's helping us distill what we want to put forward, in my opinion too. Like, it's like, okay, let's drill this down even deeper.
Yeah.
You know, because we started this big, and now we're distilling it down to what's really going to be of the most benefit. And it's been such a fun journey.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I agree so fully with exactly those statements. And that being said, also, like, for you guys, if there's certain things that you want to know, like if you have ideas of what you want from us, understanding, you know, who we are and what we're about and how we do things, please, like, whether it's on YouTube, you can comment, you guys can email us, like, however you want to get in touch, DM us on Facebook or Instagram, whatever you want. Let us know, though, how we can serve you, you know?
Our email address is awaken@inspiredsovereignty.com.
Yes. Yes. And it's often you will see it on our shirts. Not today, most days though. And it's also always in the show notes for you guys.
Yep.
Everywhere that you want to find us is in the show notes. Cool. Okay, so let's dive into the shit show here. So
here comes the shit show.
Yeah. Okay, so enemas, colonics, colon hydrotherapy, colonic lavage. All of these terms. Oh, your hand is up. Or are you copying me?
I just want to say,
Okay.
enemas are not the enemy.
Exactly. Enemas. Right? Enemas are our frenemas. And also, okay, so our enema program, it is it is
Sorry, I'm just silly today.
it's okay. You're silly. You're really, really cute. Okay. So frenemas, we're gonna call these our frenemas because they're our
Yes.
friends. And also, like, I'm gonna trademark that. It came to me.
Yeah. Yes, sister.
So okay, and such a funny thing. Like, I know that us teaching these awakening people how to cleanse our gut, I know that it's absolutely aligned because I've been calling it a frenema in my head for over 4 years. And the term fren, as in FREN, as our newer awakened version of friendships through this journey of awakening, because I've already been calling it the frenema in my head for so many years. And now it's like, we're all friends. Like, now it's like the branding hits in the sacred aligned way that it's like this program is meant to be here for us right now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So colon cleansing, so necessary. Okay. So the most basic thing I can say right now is that our bodies are tube systems. We are a fancy tube. Think of us as like a really magnificent, complicated earthworm. You got a mouth hole, which is the top of the tube, right? And your sinuses, your nasal cavity, your eyes, ears, everything's connected to the top of this tube. This tube runs down your body, and then it's all jumbled up in your belly, a whole bunch, and then it comes out your pooper hole. Okay, and just this is, guys know that I'm very scientific, I'm very medical, but we
She's
talk
super nerdy.
yeah, super nerdy, but it's like we talk about it in these simplistic terms because this makes it, number one, comfortable. Number two, a little bit funny and definitely hilarious to me. But number three, it's like it makes it more tangible to people because, you know, who is it? Is it Einstein that says, like, if you really understand something, you can explain it simply? And medicine and, oh, I got you with that one, didn't I? But really, like, medicine and everything, you know, or sorry, like the Western world friggin' complicates things.
Well, that statement just made me go back years going, gosh.
What do you mean?
About explaining things to people.
Oh yeah. Well, no, seriously. You know, my dad and when we're healing our body and our digestive tract, it's plumbing. You know, and I used to talk to my dad about this stuff because he let me give him a couple of colonics like 10 years ago, you know, and my dad always taught me about plumbing. He's like, there's only 2 things that you need to know about plumbing. Payday's Friday and shit runs downhill, you know? And Dad, if you're watching, your wisdom stays with me.
Yeah.
So really, really simply put, we are tubes. From your mouth hole to your butthole, you are a hollow tube system. And yes, there's different organs. You know, it's like we start in the mouth and the sinus cavities and everything, like I just said, but it's the top of the shit tube. And then, right, we have our esophagus. Then our esophagus leads into our stomach. So still, this is just the different sections of the same tube. And then from our stomach, we have about 22 feet of small intestine, which is where most of our absorption and digestion happens. And then after our small intestine, you have your colon, also known as your large intestine. There's just the 2 of them, the small one and the large one, also known as the colon. And so the colon then is just about 4 to 6 feet long, and then that leads to your butthole. It's really, seriously, this simple. And so the colon, the last 4 to 6 feet of your digestive tract, one of its jobs is to absorb water. And it also, like, it produces almost all of your serotonin, which is like the really good feeling neurotransmitter. But the colon ends up kind of being like the reservoir, the storage tank where the poop sits until it's ready to come out of our bodies into the toilet. But while poop is in our colon, often when it's just sitting there, because we're stressed, because we're dehydrated, because we're on the birth control or whatever medications, or we take Advil too much, or we're tight and we're tense, so we hold shit in, or
literally,
for literally all of the different reasons, we end up getting a lot of poop just stuck along the walls of our intestines. And then so most average people have at least, like I said, 5 to 25 pounds of just residual food / poop. Your hand is up. You're like, me, I got the pounds.
I got a question.
Okay.
So when you say that it's in our intestine,
I like you sassy. I can tell you got sassy energy. It's good. Go on.
It's just in our lower or large intestine, or it's in our large and our small intestine?
So we really get buildup like a bit along the whole way.
Okay.
But we're talking primarily in the colon. And so this... I don't want to get ahead of myself, but when we're doing enemas or colonics or colon hydrotherapy, it's really all the same thing. All that it really means is that we're infusing gently and safely warm, purified water into the colon. So that means just into the last 4 to 6 feet of your digestive tract. When we're putting warm, clean water safely and easily up the butt, it's only going about 4 to 6 feet, if that, okay?
So our large intestine is 4 to 6 feet. I mean, I promise you guys, I'm learning some of this stuff. Like, I think that I know things, and then I'm like, wait, I just pictured it like this little curve thing, even though, yeah, I'm going to have to, okay, I'm like looking at a picture, but
do I need to bring down a diagram?
4 to 6 feet?
Yes.
That whole thing is 4.
You're yelling into the microphone.
I'm like blown away because it's so funny because I think I know these things, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that's pretty big.
Yeah. Well, and especially like on some people, and especially like the colon stretches. So if anybody here has got a beer belly or a distended abdomen or whatever type of term we want to put on it, and remember, nothing's good or bad, it just is what it is. But if we have a belly that is like protruding, it's like the colon is stretched. I see you looking at my diagram. Okay, so on all of my walls here, I have all like the medical posters, and like Kimberly right now is staring at diseases of the digestive tract because that's what I use to show everybody your colon and your whole digestive tract and everything. So
the colon.
Do you want to take that off the wall?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, come on, go get it. I'm going to keep talking.
So the colon is that big thing.
Okay.
Hang on, I'll be right back.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep talking. Okay, so when we're doing enemas or colonics, we're only infusing just the colon with water. We're not like there's a sphincter that stops the water. Oh my God, you're so cute. From going all the way up into the small intestine. So in order to cleanse out whatever residue is stuck, I think she's taking paint off my wall. Oh my goodness. In order to clean out what is stuck in the small intestine, that is why we drink enough water. We take the Psyllium and Bentonite because that just acts as like a scrub brush to scrub everything down, and we eat enough fruits and veggies, okay? Okay, so let me move our waters. Okay, lower those down in here. Okay, everybody. So welcome to your insides. Thank you, Kimberly, for holding this. Okay, so guys, we might be a little bit backwards here. I can't tell if we're backwards because cameras are confusing for us. So here is your digestive tract. So here, your head is going to be up here. So this is where you eat your food. We gotta chew really... Okay, guys, wait, we're sober. We've not been smoking or anything. It's just we've already recorded one today, and it was like a really good feeling but serious episode. And now we just got energies. Okay, so when we're chewing food up here, look at your mouth is in the right spot. This is so great. So the food, hold it as your body. The food, let me move the microphone, travels down Kimberly's esophagus. This is her esophagus. This is her liver. right over top of her boobies for some reason. This is her gallbladder. This is pancreas is nestled underneath here. But so food comes after she chews it because digestion starts in the mouth. We want to chew our food so good because we want it all broken up into little pieces. Are you okay standing there for a minute? Because I feel like this is important.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I do too, because I'm getting educated.
okay, so I'm giving everybody the spiel that I normally give in the beginning of your first colonic, okay? And everybody, we love you. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so if you're just listening to this, like on one of the podcast apps, this might be an episode that it is worthy for you to get your hiney over to YouTube, because this, what you're getting out of me right now, you know, people pay good money for it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we chew our food so well because in order for your body to digest things, it's like we need it to be as mushy as possible. If there's like big hunks of food that you're just like inhaling and swallowing, what is your body supposed to do with that? What is your body supposed to do? You don't have teeth anywhere down your but I mean, like, right, I keep it simple because, guys, this shit is simple. This shit is simple, and generally, none of us have just thought this shit through, okay? So that's why I'm your friend now, okay? So we chew. We want to chew until everything is mush. Do not swallow your food. If there's still chunks in your mouth, keep it in your mouth until it's all mush, then you swallow it down. Also, while you're chewing, you are mixing everything with your saliva. Your saliva has digestive enzymes in it, and so your saliva in your mouth is already starting to break down the food in your mouth. So we want to not just be swallowing hunks of food because like it's just going to get stuck in some of this like all jummed up area, you know? So you want to chew everything so well, mix it with your saliva, then you swallow it down and it goes down your esophagus. After it goes through your esophagus, it goes into your stomach. Your stomach right here is a J-shaped hollow organ. It has this texture that is like an accordion, so your stomach can stretch. So you know, like if you've been fasting or eating really small meals, it's like your stomach actually shrinks, right? So that you're not so hungry. You don't need to eat so much. Or if you eat really big meals, often you get hungry or you stay hungry or you get used to feeding yourself because you're stretching your stomach, okay? So your stomach here, food needs to stay in here for a good chunk of time, and the timing depends on what you're eating. If you're eating something like fruit, that's really easy and quick to digest. It's probably leaving your stomach after about 15 minutes. But maybe you're eating like some meat and something that's like a lot heavier and longer to digest. So it might stay in your stomach for like an hour, you know? So what we're eating determines how long it's going to be staying in the stomach, because the stomach is going to make a different concoction of gastric juices to meet whatever it is that you're eating. And just a side note there, how we're combining our foods is really important. So maybe you want to do some research, just Google, don't Google, use DuckDuckGo because screw Google, but you want to go and look into food combining. So just basic food combining principles. But most basic thing I can say about that is that fruits, eat your fruits alone. Do not mix any fruits with any fruits. Or sorry, do not mix fruits with anything else other than fruit. And then melons, watermelon, honeydew, cantaloupe, those are truly on their own category also. They digest so rapidly. They're in their natural form. They're kind of already like pre-digested. So melons should really only ever be eaten with melons. Fruits, only eaten with fruits. Don't mix your fruits with anything else, ideally. And then starches and proteins should also not be mixed. So don't eat a potato with your steak. Stick with broccoli, green beans, things like that instead. But please, if you want to know more about that, you go research it yourself, because there's probably so many resources on it, okay? So your stomach, we should only ever be eating until we are about 80% full. Whatever that means for you. We want to only eat until we're about 80% full, because we still need room in the stomach for gastric juices and hydrochloric acid to be added. And then we also need room for everything to churn and to move and to digest, okay? So once food is in your stomach and you've chewed it up really good, it basically is like a mushy paste, and then it starts mixing with your gastric juices, and then it turns into what we call is bolus. So B-O-L-U-S, bolus. And so that's kind of like, think of it as a smoothie. So whatever you ate, it's mushed up. It's now mixing with gastric juices. So it's kind of like a food smoothie, or it's called a bolus. So you have this food smoothie now that's going to move down all of your intestines. So in this image, your stomach leads into your small intestine right here. And then all here in the center, this is all your small intestine. So your small intestine, like I said, is like roughly 20, 21, 22 feet long. It's full of all of these little villi, which are like tiny, tiny, tiny little fingers. Well, they're not actually fingers. They're just like little thingies. Little thingies like on a sea urchin maybe. And then all of the little thingies actually have little thingies on them. And the purpose of all of these little thingies, all these little fingers, are like hairs almost, it's not hair though, is to drastically increase the surface space to absorb your nutrients. So for instance, in your small intestine, and I don't have an appropriate image with me right now, but it's your small intestine is quite skinny and it's got all these little fingers in it. But if we spread out the surface area, get this, Kimberly, the surface area of your small intestine is about that of 2 tennis courts.
What the hell?
What the hell, right? Isn't that cool? You still okay there?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be done soon. Okay, so in the small intestine, that's where we're absorbing about 80% of the nutrients of the food that we're eating. Okay, it's absorbing straight into the blood supply through the small intestine. So most of the digestion happens there. We are absorbing most through there, and then after the small intestine, and again, it's eating fruits and veggies and drinking water and the psyllium and the bentonite that's going to go through the whole upper part of the digestive tract, so the stomach and all of the small intestine, and it's going to help scrub it all clean and grab whatever's stuck in there and bring it down to the colon. Okay, so we go from esophagus, stomach, small intestine for a long time, and then we go into the colon. And so here in this image, the colon is this larger organ that's going around the perimeter here down to your pooper here. Okay, so our colon begins right here, and it's a larger sac, and this is where your appendix is. So when we have appendicitis, guys, it's because the pooper is too impacted full of poop, and your appendix is basically just like a hollow little tube that gets jammed full of poop, and it starts putrefying, and then it can erupt and explode. And that's really all that. Did you know that?
Nope.
Okay, so that's what appendicitis is. So if you have had like appendicitis or your appendix removed, at any age, that lets us know that we already had an impacted colon with buildup in it at that stage. Wow. And a lot of people get their appendix out at 16 years old and whatnot. So that lets us know that there was already colon dysfunction going on a long time ago or whenever that was, okay? So when that food smoothie, that bolus, goes into the large intestine, also known as your colon, right? You can see that around the perimeter of the body, it's often maybe like 1.5 feet, 1.5 feet, 1.5 feet, plus this lower part is called your rectum, okay? So this is the ascending colon because it's going up. And so this is your lower right-hand corner of the body. I guess I'm not going to stand up for this. And then this tucks in underneath your, basically like the right upper side of your rib cage. And
use my body?
Well, I guess it's basically on your body, okay, right? Yeah. And then this is the transverse colon that comes across, like right underneath your rib cage. So a lot of people feel like a lot of buildup, like in the center of the body, and a lot of people get a lot of uncomfortable sensation when this part is impacted. And most people have a lot of impaction here, and even in the corners. Like shit really gets stuck in the corners. And then this corner of the colon tucks in your upper left-hand corner underneath your rib cage, and then it comes down your descending colon, which travels down the left side of your abdomen, and then it has another corner that's like in your lower left-hand hip, and then it kind of just goes like deeper into the center of your body, and then out your pooper hole. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and so like we said, the small intestine has all of those little villi, which are like the little finger things to increase surface area, villi, and then the microvilli on top of the villi, so that we've got all of this surface area to absorb. Your colon, however, it is smooth inside. It is smooth and it is supple, and kind of in this image you can see like there's all of these pockets in it. So the pockets are really good spaces for shit to get stuck, basically, which is unfortunate. But it's really smooth inside of your colon. This is where we synthesize our vitamin K. This is where we produce over 95% of your serotonin, right? And again, that is one of the good feeling neurotransmitters, just like dopamine. So we often, when we have, mental imbalances, depression, anxiety, that's very serotonin related, and we think, oh, well, I have a brain chemistry problem. No, you got a pooper problem, because this is where we're producing our serotonin is here. And then your gut, Your colon here is your enteric nervous system. So much of your nervous system tissue, like you have more neurons here in your colon than in your whole spinal cord and brain. That's insane. Okay, it's amazing. So here in your colon, what's happening in your colon? The nerves are connected to the brain through the vagus nerve, but most of the nerves are all in the direction of going from colon upwards to Kimberly's brain or your brain. So by what's going on in here is feeding what's going on in this pretty little head, you know? So our serotonin is created here. We still in the colon, we do about, the other 20% of absorbing nutrients out of the food still. And then the colon also, because when the food is moving through the intestines, like I shared, it's in like that smoothie consistency, because it's mixed in with gastric juices. So once that gets into the colon, one of the colon's jobs is actually to also absorb moisture, absorb water. So your colon is going to start reabsorbing all of those gastric juices back into your body so that you can recycle them and do stuff with them and not get dehydrated. But a lot of us are so chronically dehydrated that once that smoothie goes into the colon, right, the smoothie that is your food and gastric juices all mixed up because you chewed really good, once it goes into the colon, your colon's going to start sucking the water out of it and sucking the water out of it. And then it basically, things start getting kind of stuck, because a lot of us are dehydrated. So the body is desperate to get that water back. So then we end up getting like hard little poops that have a hard time moving through the whole colon here. So, because everything should be moving through and just slowly absorbing the water back. And by the time you get down here, it should just be a really, really good bowel movement that comes out where it's not too hard, it's not too soft, it's brown. When you flush the toilet, it should break up just a little bit, but it should be a really nice log. That's our ideal situation. What else is important for me to say about this? Okay, so when we're doing an enema or a colonic, you have a little piece of something, which is very gentle and easy, and it goes into the rectum, which is, you can see where my fingers are, and it just goes in like a little bit, and then from there, we just start infusing water gently into the colon, and then we release it out, and we infuse gently in a little bit further, and we release it out. And so if we are able to get to a point where we can hydrate our full colon while we're doing an enema or a colonic, that's the ideal situation, because we get plaqued up shit this whole way along the colon. We want to be able to get water in this whole length of the colon so that you're getting water and you can feel it all the way down to the lower right hand corner, so like lower right hand abdomen on your body. That's ideal situation. For a lot of people though, when we start with doing colon hydrotherapy or colonics or enemas, normally, because we do have a lot of impacted fecal matter, normally it's like we start kind of cleaning out this lower part of the colon. And then once we get that kind of okay, then the water can get in a little bit deeper and get up to this corner, and so a lot of times it's like we're really working this end of it until we can get even deeper in. So it's kind of like mining, where, if you're a miner, not a miner like a child, but like a miner, like I'm mining for, I don't know.
Poop.
We're mining for poop. It's like you gotta go in a bit with the water and you need to pull out what you can. And then we want to go in a bit further with the water and then we want to pull out what we can. That's basically what we're doing. And where the small intestine meets the colon, there is a sphincter there, like I said a couple minutes ago. And so that sphincter stops us, like when we're putting water in for an enema or a colonic, that sphincter stops the water from leaving the colon and going up into the small intestine. So this is a very, very safe procedure where it's just gentle, warm water, and again, from mouth hole to butthole, it's one tube system. It's a hollow tube system. And then all of your organs, tissue, cells, everything else in your body, from your hair, skin, nails, brain, eyes, everything is dependent upon how well is this simple tube system working. Because if this tube system is jacked all up and super constipated and full of impacted, constantly putrefying at body temperature, old poop and parasites and bacteria and yeast. And if you got old poop in here, you have really bad bacteria, yeast, and parasites no matter what. You can't just have old poop in you and not have those opportunistic organisms as well. It all goes together. It's like if you left a picnic out in nature and you have a whole picnic and stuff and you just left it. It's like, would nature not come in? It's like you'd have bugs and stuff coming in because it's like shit wants to eat shit. So if we got the shit, I know, but it's so simple. If we got the shit stuck inside of us, opportunistic organisms are going to be present to help break things down because that's literally just how nature goes. Okay, Kimberly, any questions you think that anybody listening might have, or any questions that you have, darling?
The one thing that I do know, and maybe you could speak to just so that people know, and maybe you will, is that we have two sphincters at the bottom, right?
You mean in our butthole?
Yeah.
That's really important. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, so lastly here, in our rectum, okay, so everybody's heard the term rectum. That just means the lower part of your colon. So that's just like maybe the 8 inches before it turns into your butthole, okay? So your butthole is a sphincter. Right, and so is your mouth hole, right? Everybody can understand that your mouth hole is just the mirrored image of your butthole. It's just slightly different shape. Okay, but here in our rectum, we actually have 2 sphincters. And this is important to know because if you're doing a colonic or an enema, when we're putting the speculum, so that's just like, it's the little piece that goes into your butt. When we're putting it in, it's really easy to get it through the first sphincter because that's your butthole. So obviously it goes into that. But then a couple inches up, there is another internal sphincter. So when we're putting a speculum into us, when it goes in, it's like it often goes like in an inch or 2 and it's comfortable and easy, and then we meet a little bit of resistance, and that's just that internal sphincter. And so it's totally safe and very comfortable to just very, very slowly gently pushing the speculum in a little bit deeper, and then you'll feel the sphincter just open up and just pull it up in. And I mean, the way that I explain that, to me, it sounds kind of gross, but that's really, it's just important to know that inside of your butthole, you've got actually 2 sphincters. And in order to do an enema or a colonic, we do have to get the speculum, like the piece that's going to introduce the water. We need to get it past that second internal sphincter, because if it's just in between the 2, then it's like you're just going to be filling up like this very small area with water, and it's just going to come straight out. Did I explain that good?
Yep.
Yeah? Is there anything that I missed with that?
No.
Okay.
And it's true. It does like pull it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. So when I said that it'll like pull the speculum or whatever, like depending on what type of system we're using, that it pulls it into your body, it really kind of does. So it's in them. Once it's in there, it's generally in there pretty okay. Thank you so much for that visual. I know we weren't planning on going that in depth in this episode, but I think that's, I've been meaning to make a video explaining that for a really long time.
Good.
Was that fun for you?
Yeah.
Thanks for holding it. Okay. So that was your brief intro to what is your digestive tract and how does this work. And again, guys, just to understand that your body is a very, very simple tube system. Like, this is what we should all be taught. None of us are taught that. That is ridiculous. And again, like everything going on, your immune system, your allergic response to things, your autoimmune response, your inflammatory response, your hormones in your body, what your menstrual cycles are like, your brain chemistry, your dental health, your sinus health, your whole nervous system health. Like literally everything is dependent upon this tube system, because this tube system is how we take in this reality, right? Because it's like we put things into us, we become them kind of, and then like when we eat, we have to be able to digest, to assimilate, to absorb, and then we have to excrete. Every one of those steps is necessary for the body to be able to function properly. So it's not just a matter of like, well, how am I eating and what am I eating? Are you chewing? If you've got all of this plaqued up stuff in your butt, in your colon, we're not going to be able to absorb things properly, So it's like, it's not just a matter of eating healthy, but it's about having a rehabilitated digestive tract that's actually able to properly absorb, to properly assimilate. And then a digestive tract that is muscularly strong enough to be able to make good, strong poops and have your body poop frequently. Because a lot of people, depending on what kind of traumas we've been through, what type of medications we've been on, if we've done a lot of stool softeners, laxatives, those organs, or even if we've taken a lot of NSAIDs, so like non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like your Advil, your naproxen, things like that, those are all things, like there's so many things that we can accidentally or unconsciously do that degrade the gut, that make it more permeable, but also make it lazy. And when we're doing those things, it really ends up screwing up our digestive tract. So that takes me into, why do we do enemas? Or is there anything else that's important to add to that?
No.
Do you have anything that you want to add while I put on chapstick and take a drink of water?
No.
Okay.
I mean, gosh, thank you.
Is this good for you too?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So basically, guys, like I said, enemas, colonics, they are just It's just putting warm, purified water just into the colon, not up into the small intestine. You eating your fruits and veggies, drinking enough water, and doing psyllium husks and bentonite clay from episode number 34. That's how you clean out the full small intestine, okay? So where do we even start? With enemas. Why do we do them? Like we said, most people, because of food, because of diet, because of stress, because of chemicals, because of medications, because of all of the things, most of us all end up just getting slowly residual layers of just shit stuck on the inside of the tube. So think of like, if you're in an old house or something and you took apart your plumbing, like in your bathroom, it's like those pipes, they're going to be kind of nasty inside. They're not going to be all pristine like they're brand new. You know, like even your mouth and your teeth. If you don't go to the dentist for a cleaning once in a while, shit's going to get literally plaqued up. And this is just the top end of the poop tube. So at the bottom end of the poop tube, because as above, so below. If this stuff gets plaqued up and we go to a professional to clean it out, why is it like inconceivable that the same thing is necessary in your butt? Right?
Right.
Do you hear how simple this shit is? Right? Okay, so for these reasons, like this is why we literally need to just clean this stuff out, because like we all have this plaqued up stuff inside of us. And if you have this plaqued up old poop sitting inside of you, because like how could you even be a 15-year-old in this world without having this? You know what I mean? And a lot of us are in our 20s, our 30s, our 40s, our 50s and beyond. So it's like, it's so necessary for all of us, because if that shit is in you, it's harming your immune system. And obviously, right, we should be talking about immune systems these days, because the world, but also like, right, because our like 80% of your immune system in your colon. You know, like this stuff just matters so much. And if you got junk in the trunk, no matter what, you got lots of bad bacteria. No matter what, you got parasites. No matter what, you've got a yeast overgrowth. So it is what it is. And so 90% of diseases all begin in the colon. And again, literally, because we just have rotting poop stuck inside of us, and it's not frozen. It's not in the fridge. It's not in a glass jar that's inert. It's like literally sitting in your tissues. You know, if you had like poop on your arm, let's say like I rubbed some poop on your arm 10 years ago and I'm like, leave it there. No, but really it's like,
no, I get it. Yeah.
But what would happen is that it would start eroding your skin. The bacteria and enzymes in the poop would start eating through your skin. That's why babies have diaper rash. If they sit in a poopy diaper, it starts eating away at their skin. So why do we all think it's okay to have poop stuck inside of us? Or why are we in denial that we have poop stuck inside of us?
Right.
Because again, guys, Western medicine would barely have to exist if we all had clean poopers. And that is a mic drop.
That is
fact.
a mic drop.
That's a mic drop fact.
Yes.
So, and I'm so sorry, but doctors don't understand cleansing. Doctors are not trained in nutrition. Most doctors have between 0 to 8 hours of nutritional study. Right? And so it's like right there, if you're not understanding the impact of what you're putting in your mouth hole, like obviously your body's constantly rebuilding itself. How could what we're putting in our mouth hole to rebuild the body, how could it have no effect on how we're going to rebuild?
Right?
Right?
I mean, right.
Okay. So that look on our faces is like, how are people that participate in mainstream medicine how are we not understanding that everything is so backwards? You know, it's like we go through mainstream medicine. Whoever sees anybody actually getting healthier? Like, yes, we can heal from surgeries. We can heal from accidents. Again, mainstream or Western medicine, amazing at stitching us back up together again. Very, very poor at actually creating health and healing. You know, so
and almost never does it talk about diet.
Right.
I mean, probably. I mean, almost. I'm going to say almost never.
No.
You know, relaxation, diet, anything that has to do with your nervous system, your intestinals.
I've talked to so many specialists that, you know, even like I've talked to rheumatologists. Those are people that specialize in rheumatoid arthritis. No, diet doesn't affect it. It's even crazy. Dermatologists, same thing, diet doesn't affect it. I've talked to gastroenterologists, diet doesn't affect it. And it's like, I'm sorry, but these practices in many ways, they are void of wisdom. These people are disconnected from how the body actually works. Like we're so segmented with understanding it. It's like you got the ear, nose, and throat specialist. Right. He doesn't understand what's happening in the pooper, and the pooper is still part of the tube, and the tube's being affected by what's happening in the pooper. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, or you have somebody that you go for the brain stuff, but the pooper is the first brain. Why? But we have to, you know, it's like everything is so interconnected that we must begin looking at ourselves holistically, as in the wholeness of you, everything that's going on. And so if the sewer of your body, if your colon is super polluted, and because it's so polluted, it's also inflamed, and therefore it's more permeable, and therefore you're leaching your own fucking toxicity into the rest of your body constantly. No wonder we can't sleep well. No wonder we're anxious. No wonder we're depressed. No wonder we're inflamed. No wonder we've got allergies. No wonder we've got sniffles. No wonder, all the other, give me 500 symptoms. No wonder all of it. It's because the sewer's backed up.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the why. I'll get off of that soapbox. That's the why, guys. Okay. So how do we do this? Okay, it's very, very simple. You have a certain amount of old poop stuck in you. It's not like it's an infinite hole of shit. Like, that's just it. It's like, if we're cleansing and also living well so that we're not trying to re-pollute ourselves, cleansing is simple, cleansing is easy, cleansing is safe if we're being smart,
right.
And cleansing can be very, very gentle. But where was I going with that? Was I on why or how?
How?
Okay. Yeah. So how is like, again, we go to a professional like myself, or we learn how to do this at home. So how do we start actually cleaning this stuff up? I really want you guys to listen to the Instagram live that Kimberly and I did. I don't know if we're posting that right before this episode or right after this episode, but we'll make sure it's in these show notes because we go like really in depth to a lot of stuff. It's a 90-minute conversation. It's really, really fantastic. But we want to be doing these things for ourselves safely at home, because you can buy for $20 to $30, $40, depending on the quality of enema kit that you want to buy. You can buy everything to do this at home for yourself, okay? So number one thing is that we buy an enema kit. And an enema kit is just simply, it's a kit that lets you put water in your butt, and you want to be getting good quality water always, So if you want to have a Kangen machine like Kimberly and I do, because it will absolutely change all the ways that you do things in your life.
All the ways.
Like literally, we use water for everything. To emulsify oils, to sterilize things. Like we use water to tone our skin. We use like water for everything, because that's the future that we're moving into. Is water is so brilliant, but we've basically forgotten it.
Yep.
So we need good quality water. I want you using warm water, okay? Because warm water actually cleans things. Room temperature water doesn't do a whole lot. Like, even think of when you're doing your laundry or you're doing your dishes, right? And let's say you've got some like nasty stuff, some oily stuff in there. You need the warmth to be able to break stuff up, okay? And it's like, if you're gonna wash dishes with like just tap water that's like or just like room temp, it's like that shit just ain't gonna clean unless you can scrub, and we're not gonna put a brush up our butt to scrub it. So we're just like, we need to use the warmth of the water, okay? So my enema kit, normally I honestly use my colon hydrotherapy machine because I'm still set up, but you can buy cute little things like this. It comes in a little bag. There's a lot of different types of enema kits. I actually really like the Aussie one. They're built in Australia. And I'm from a Commonwealth country, so I like supporting Australia too. But there are plenty of ones that are made here in America. I don't know where the little pieces went. Okay, so with these enema kits, you can buy them in different styles. Sorry for the noise, everyone, but this is just, it's a little stuck.
Isn't it cool that it's portable and you can take it anywhere you go?
And that's just it. It's like, I bought this to take on my little vacation because traveling, I get a little bit bunged up.
Yeah.
I definitely do. And for me, I think it's a bit of a being away from home thing. So we can buy different types of enema kits, and we can put some links in the show notes of where you can find them and buy them. Okay. But there's different types. They go from being small to big to expensive to inexpensive. And yeah, different styles. So this one that we are showing you here, this is a bucket enema kit. So this is a stainless steel bucket. I really like this bucket. It's a bucket with a spigot, and the bucket is about 2 quarts, maybe 3. It's a
64 ounces.
64? Okay, perfect. So this is 2 quarts. I honestly, this is great for travel because it's like you can put it in your suitcase, you can fill it full of clothes or whatever, so it doesn't really take up space, But for like use at home, I would much prefer it if this was a gallon. Because if not, it's like you kind of need to refill it, which it's fine. So it's got a little spigot on it, and then it comes with hosing. And so basically it's like you fill this with warm water, and you have these hoses attached to it. And so if this is like on your countertop, and then you're laying on your bathroom floor, like on a towel, grab a pillow, grab a book, grab your iPad, grab whatever it is that you like. And then basically when you're laying on the floor, this whole tube system is going to lay down with you. And we've got a clamp here, which starts and stops the flow of water so that we can be very, very gentle with putting water in, like a little bit of a time. and then a little bit at a time. And we'll explain that process here in a moment. But then on the very end of your tube system here, this is where then we attach the piece that's going to end up going up our butts. And so most enema kits are going to come with different types of things that you can put up your butt. And then I'm sorry I say it so casually. It's just like, it literally just is what it is. And I want to keep like removing any fear around things, you know, because it really is so simple. And so depending on your own situation, and maybe if you have hemorrhoids or anything, like you can go to certain websites, like the Optimal Health Network is really amazing. And they've got a whole bunch of different types of the pieces that actually go into you. And so some are really soft and comfortable, just depending on what's going on, you know, so you've got different choices. But like this one, for instance, comes with this little plastic piece that has holes in the top for the water to come out, or like this little piece that that is just a little bit softer. So I've used both. They're both great. It's fine. Do you have a preference?
I use that one.
You use the white plastic one? Mm-hmm. Okay, it's not too...
It goes...
Okay, good. Yeah. And so then once this is inside of us, we just basically like lube it up. You very gently put it through your first sphincter. And then you start feeling your second sphincter inside, and you just very gracefully, and everybody's body is kind of like at a different angle inside. So you just gracefully
breathe.
You breathe. And also, the more, I almost pointed at my mouth with this, the more that you loosen your mouth hole, loosen and relax the muscles of your mouth hole will help to loosen and relax the muscles of your butthole. Okay? Okay. So then once this is inside of us, you kind of got to hold it. Like that's one thing for me with an enema that's challenging. But again, like I just said, that there's different types of enema, like for the tips that go into your rectum, that some of them kind of like pump up and blow up so that it actually stays inside of you better. So there are different choices. But how do you, like when you're laying on the ground, are you laying on your back or on your side? Because you can be laying on your left side, or you can roll over onto your back.
I start on my left side, and then I will roll over once I'm filled up. But I use that one that has the different sprayers, and I insert, and then I go to click to let the water come. Oh, and then I go back really fast and hold it in.
Okay. So when she says click to make the water come, it means that she is taking the what do you call it? This clamp and allowing the water to flow. Okay. So this is all technically gravity fed. So nothing's going into your body with pressure because it's gravity fed. It means that as your body allows the water in, the water will come in. And so when water's coming into your colon, right, with that diagram that Kimberly was wonderfully holding, we see that there's immediately a corner, and then there's another corner in your gut, and then it comes up into another corner. So at first, when we start filling ourselves up at first, and like, you know, a lot of people that are listening or watching, that we're going to be really constipated people that are really impacted. And for those people, we want to use really good warm water, not hot. Like don't put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, but good and warm. And we just want to let in as much water as we can. And in the beginning, for some people, it's going to be very, very little water. But when that water comes in, it's going to start feeling urgent. Like you're going to be like, oh shit, I need to shit right now. And ideally, that's the place where if it feels okay, you want to just pause the water and take a couple breaths. And then that urgency will normally back off. And then when it feels comfortable, open the clamp a bit, add a little bit more water and keep breathing. Because when you're breathing deep, when you're doing enemas or colonics, your deep belly breath is priceless, because every time you're inflating your lungs really big, your diaphragm is pushing on your colon, like pushing on your intestines and basically like creating this massaging effect. So your deep breath is going to help invite that water in. And so anytime it starts getting a little bit like intense, like, oh, I got to poop, you want to clamp this. And then you want to either breathe to see if the sensations will back off, and then maybe we can add more. Or when we clamp this, if it stays urgent, we want to gracefully pull it out of our butt, hop onto the toilet. What do you want to add here? Because you're very experienced with enemas now, so tell us more.
So when you get to that point where you hit that corner, when you do take a moment to breathe, and I'm at a point now where I don't have to stop the water. I can just
breathe
relax.
And allow it.
You can literally feel it like turn the corner.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like this pressure, and then all of a sudden it goes, and it just turns the corner. And So at first, I was only getting a small amount of water in, like you said.
Yeah.
And now I can do at least a half a bucket most days.
Yeah.
Now, some days are different depending on what I've eaten, depending on what,
Right.
how I feel even.
Yeah.
But I can do a half a bucket with no pause.
Amazing. Okay, so that's about a quart going into you without pause. That's really, really good. And so part of that for you, why it's easier for you now, part of it is probably because you've cleared out a lot of waste. So literally it's easier for you to take in that water now. Part of it is also because you've become a skilled butt practitioner for yourself, right?
Yeah.
That it's like, the sensations and you know how to work with the water. Because really, when you start doing enemas for yourself, it isn't, at first it's like, oh my God, what am I doing to myself? What is happening? Blah, blah, blah. But over time, it ends up becoming it's a relationship with water and a relationship with your body, right? I love giving people colonics so much because within those first couple sessions, it's like people go from being in a place of like, I don't know what to do. Like, do I just lay here? Do I push? What do I do? And then they get to a place where they already know naturally how to work with their breath, to work with the body, and how to feel their body. And one of the most, for me, precious gifts of doing enemas or colonics, and like you just stated, is like you start feeling the inside of your body in a way that you've never felt it before, but in a way that it's like, it is special. It is a beautiful feeling that you actually will map out your colon, where it's like, you'll be able to feel where that water is going. And also, like, for people that have a lot of junk in the trunk and who are impacted, normally in the beginning, you can't really feel the water unless the water is like cooler, and it's okay to have a fluctuation in temperature also. But if we're trying to really release old poop, we need warm water.
And just an alert for people that are just starting out, it will go in cold. The first little rush is going to be cold anyway, because the tube, some of it's sitting partially in the tube. It's filled the tube up and it's cooled off already. So it'll start out cold for a second. But then so just wait and you'll feel the warmth come.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So you're going to get used to what the sensations are like in your body. And so when you do start putting water into your body, it'll have kind of at first probably like a little bit of a shocking sensation, which is okay. It's totally okay. And when we get used to this, it's ideal situation is that we fill up the bucket multiple times and we go from being on the floor, filling up our bodies, to clamping the water off, getting on the toilet, releasing waves. Yep. And then we get back onto the floor, maybe fill up our bucket if there isn't more water left in it.
Relube.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, so we kind of need to, we've gone a little bit forward, so we have to backtrack here in a second. But when your body is releasing, it's like, it's going to come out in waves.
Yep.
And people are always like, what? And then they're like, oh, I know what you mean now.
Yeah. So you immediately will release.
Yeah.
And then you sit there for a second and then you'll have another release.
Yeah.
And then depending on how much you got up in there, you might have another release, and it'll there'll be like a big one and then maybe a little one and then another really big one.
Yeah. And
that's my experience.
Yeah. And it's always going to be different every time you do this, just like plant medicine, just like breath work, just like anything. Every time you do this, it's going to be a different experience because your body's at a different place. Yeah. What are we digesting? What are we releasing? Yada, yada, yada. So I want us to talk about releasing and the sensations and all of that. But before we get there, I want to backtrack quickly because I didn't finish talking about the enema kits. So we've got buckets like this that are stainless steel. Okay. So you can get a stainless steel one, which I like because it's so easy to clean. And also so that you guys know, this all doesn't make a big poopy mess. Okay. The bucket stays clean. There's just water going into it. Yeah. The tubes stay clean. It's just water going through them, so you still wash them, rinse them, let them air dry. But then the only thing that's actually getting poopy is the actual nozzle part that's going into your butt. And so for me, I wash them with dish soap in the kitchen sink, honestly, because it's parents, it's you get poop on you sometimes. Everything's okay, guys. Poop is just poop. But then I soak them in hot bleach water today because I just felt like doing that, But with the enema kits, you can also buy it looks more like a hot water bag. And so those ones are great also. Just I prefer having a bucket because the hot water bag, it's you got to make sure that it completely dries out so that you're not getting any a mildew or anything that's going to grow in them. So you got options here. Just if you're doing a bag versus a stainless steel bucket, you just really want to make sure that the bag is 100% silicone, hospital grade silicone. Don't use anything else. Okay. Don't use anything that's rubber or any plastics or anything. Go silicone, go stainless steel. Those are the only options that you want to be using. Okay.
I use stainless.
You do? You're using the same thing that I'm using, right? Okay, amazing. Also, I want to say that we only want to be using water. Like, yes, you can put coffee up your butt. You can put tinctures up your butt. You can put chlorophyll and probiotics up your butt mixed in with water. You can put urine therapy up your butt. There's so many different things that you can put into your colon for different reasons. I don't know what she's laughing about.
There's a song that Eddie Murphy sings called Boogie in the Butt.
Okay.
So y'all just need to go listen.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. I've never listened to that, but I'll make sure that you and I have a dance party to it or something. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so, but guys, when we're cleansing, when we're healing, for everybody that's a beginner, I only want you using water still. I haven't done anything other than water up my butt for like 7 years now. Because like for me, like water, it's the solvent of life. It's the universal solvent, So good quality water, but definitely like from the get-go, like until you've really worked on your colon, my professional suggestion, and also, come on, disclaimer on everything. Always disclaimer. If you need a doctor, use a doctor. If you want to get healthy, maybe use somebody other than a doctor. But where was I going with that?
Disclaimer.
Right before that, though.
But it's about water.
Yes. Okay. Only water up your butt. Yeah. Because we want to be just sticking with water because water is going to help us evacuate everything as well as nourish and hydrate the tissues, rehabilitate the colon. If we were to put like, let's say coffee in our rectum or other things, it's like, then we're starting a whole different process because your colon is going to absorb whatever goes into it. Like if people put alcohol up their butt, they will die, because you're absorbing it directly into your blood and it's not like going through your stomach first where your stomach is going to start processing it. So know that whatever you put up your butt, it's going straight to your blood supply. So I really suggest just water. Just water,
No
just water,
vodka,
just water. Because
no whiskey.
Even with coffee, it's like you're going to get your liver to start purging. But if we haven't rehabilitated the colon yet, you don't want to be punching your liver in the face if your colon and other organs of elimination aren't ready to deal with it.
Right.
Does that make sense, right?
Perfect.
So with enemas, do not be that person who's like, oh, I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to put all this stuff up in me and these supplements and stuff. No, just water. Okay. Just water.
Yep.
And then we want to always lube up the tip. Okay. We want to lube it up really good, whether you're using that type of tip or this type of tip, or like a different type of tip. So you can use Vaseline. You can use a plant-based petroleum jelly. You can use coconut oil. I normally personally just use like plant-based petroleum jelly. I like a petroleum jelly, or sorry, not non-petroleum jelly, but you know what I mean, like a plant-based Vaseline. I like using that because it has more structure to it than coconut oil. For me, coconut oil, it kind of just like melts and do you know what I mean? So I like that. What do you like?
I'm a coconut oil person.
Okay.
And I double lube. So I lube both ends. I lube my butt.
Well, I can't whisper into the mic.
I lube my butthole.
Yeah.
And the thing that's going in it.
Yes.
I'm a double luber.
Okay. So yeah, so that's a really good thing is like lubing your butthole and then lubing the speculum. And also like, it's weird putting something in your butt for the first time, but it's like, you're fine. We're grown. It's okay. We're consenting to ourselves. We're doing it with love and good intentions. And you can't really do anything wrong, And so there are contraindications for enemas. Most contraindications, though, are basically just like, have you recently had any surgery in your gut? Hernia surgeries, things like that. Do you have hemorrhoids that are actively bleeding? If we have hemorrhoids, we want to wait until they're healed. They can still be present because hemorrhoids don't typically just go away. But like if they're bleeding, don't do enemas until they're chilled out. If you've got colitis or Crohn's, if it's in a flare, don't do any of these things until it's chilled out. Okay. So, and also if you are concerned about what contraindications might be with your own situation, hit us up. Let us help you out. Okay. But just disclaimer of like, generally this is very, very safe for most everybody. And also like with pregnancy, we're not supposed to do colonics in the first or third trimesters. But to me, that's an unnecessary precaution for most people. When I'm pregnant one day, I'm going to do them the whole way through. Period, because I know my body and I know what my body needs, Yep. So again, just warm, purified water, best thing that we can be doing. You've got choices with types of enema kits. And again, like these enema kits, you spend, this one might've been what, $30? 30 ducks I traded just for this enema kit. But I can use this repeatedly again and again for the rest of time.
Yep.
And I just had to invest $30. Whereas if you come to me for a colonic, you're going to be paying probably like, $130 every single time you come. And we want to start with at least 12 sessions. So you see, With an enema kit, you get to stay at home in your own home and do this for yourself at any time that is convenient for you, which is brilliant. And so when we're doing enemas, it's great if you can do, if you only have time to put water in your butt once, maybe hold it for a couple minutes if it's not too urgent. If it is too urgent, okay, get on the toilet.
Yep.
And even just putting water into your butt once is still such a gift to your body, just to help move. Like if we can even just evacuate the poop that's like at the lower end of the colon in your rectum, even just evacuating that and adding a little bit of hydration is brilliant for the body, because that's going to allow everything else in the colon to just all shuffle down, which is brilliant, But then really, ideally, if we're really trying to be therapeutic, if we're really trying to cleanse, that's when you want to fill up as much as you can into your body. If you can hold it, cool, hold it. If you can hold it, that's okay too. Then get yourself onto the toilet. Release wave after wave after wave until it feels like the shitstorm has stopped. Then get back onto the floor.
Yep.
Fill yourself up again. And we just keep repeating this process. So for instance, in a colonic, we might be filling you up between 20 to 30, 40 times. So an enema, the more that we can do it, the more it's going to be like a professional colonic. So that's one way to go about it. And, the more that you can do, the better. Also, if you can do it multiple days in a row, that is going to be very, very, very best. That's like if our goal is to clean house, get this shit out, rehabilitate ourselves, detoxify ourselves, reduce inflammation, we want to be doing it multiple days in a row. It's way more impactful for you to do an enema, let's say 4 days in a row, rather than once a week or once every other week. If you can do, it's like, okay, I've got time the next 4 nights, I'm going to do enemas. And then a week goes by and it's like, oh, I'm going to do another 2 enemas. Or, it's like in the beginning of cleansing, more is better. So it's because, again, you've got a finite amount of old shit stuck in you. You can get that out really slowly over time, or you can get it out quickly. And all that depends is how often are you doing enemas. So in my preference, it's like if people want healing, you want to get rid of the way that you're suffering, do more enemas closer together. If you could, let's say for the next month, do 2 enemas a week, do 5 enemas a week. Seriously, like Gerson therapy to heal cancer, they're doing enemas every single day. You are not going to get a lazy colon. This is going to strengthen your colon. You are not going to lose your good bacteria. You're giving your good bacteria a fighting chance. Because right now, if you're full of shit, bad bacteria, parasites, and yeast, what's the good bacteria supposed to do? How's it supposed to fight that? So we got to get out the nasty shit in order to allow the good bacteria to flourish. So you want to be doing enemas, then you also want to be eating some cultured foods, taking your probiotics so that we're really colonizing the good guys. What else are we missing? What's important? Like what about your journey of enemaing?
Enemaing.
Frenemaing.
Gosh, you provided so much valuable information. I can tell you, without going into logistics, because she's gone through so much of the logistics of it, that when you feel bunged up in your mind and your spirit and your body, this will help you with that as well.
Yeah.
So that's a really important piece to me, because that's what I learned when I would say, oh, I feel like this, I feel like that. And Ivy would say, do an enema. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then I started doing them and I'm like, even last night, same thing.
Yeah.
I was just like, all right, we're doing this, because I had so much tension in my body, so much anxiety, and I was just tight. So doing that helps loosen you spiritually and physically, and it just cleans you out. So
exactly. Oh, exactly. Yeah. So for everybody to know, like, enemas are perfect when it's like, okay, I've been nauseous, I've had the flu or whatever. It's like, okay, we want to do an enema. Or it's like, I've been feeling really, really bloated, really gassy. We want to do an enema. Yep. My belly feels so tight. I feel so much internal pressure, physically, mentally, or emotionally. We want to do an enema. Like my immune system is feeling kind of like I'm feeling under the weather. We want to do enemas because, again, most of your immune system is in your gut, is in your pooper, right? So for so many different reasons, the answer is an enema. It used to be, if you go to a hospital, like you go to the ER with whatever other than like you were in a car accident or something, but you go to the ER because of whatever type of pain, first thing that they do is an enema, because that typically will weed out about 80% of the people, because when you're bunged up, everything else starts to kind of go haywire.
Yep.
Yeah. I want to talk quickly about like when you're on the toilet and releasing. Often that part can be intense. It can be real darn intense, like with cramping sensations. But all of this is perfect and safe. There is nothing wrong. I remember my first colonic, mid-session, I went and sat on the ladies' toilet, and I thought I was dying. I thought I was going to die on this woman's toilet, because after 20 years of being a once-a-week pooper, it's like my body was finally letting go. And so what that felt like, because remember, so much of your nervous system is in your gut, it felt terrible. It felt disgusting. It felt like almost internally violent, but that was just because like my intestines were cramping to finally push this shit out. Right. And so again, it's like the only way through is through. So when you're on the toilet and it comes in waves, it is absolutely safe and perfect if it makes you feel like full body gross. Like if it makes you feel like every cell in your body needs to vomit, that's normal. Typically people don't ever vomit with colonics or enemas though, but it's like you might feel like it and it's okay. You might be salivating uncontrollably and it's okay. Like it might feel like you are in a tropical storm up your butt and got jungle fever up your butt, and it's okay. Because remember, just like if you're feeling really, really gross during your enema, and especially when you're releasing, the only reason why you're feeling that is because, and this is such an important part of this conversation, for you to trust your body. You are feeling so nasty because you're literally feeling the nasty shit that's been stuck inside of you. Yep. Okay, because all that we're putting up in your body is just water. Yep. You know, water isn't going to do anything bad to you as long as you're using good quality water. Right. But the whole thing is just, if it feels really, really terrible in moments when you're releasing, it is perfect, and that speaks to the toxicity of your body. And the great thing is, as soon as that you're out of that release, you feel amazing. Right. You feel like $1,000,000. You feel clearer and brighter than ever before. Yeah.
I get excited when I have the cramps.
Right? Yeah. Because it's like cathartic.
Because I know what's happening. Because I don't always feel crampy and you know, that sensation.
Yeah. It's only sometimes that they feel this bad. And especially like if you're really toxic, like really bunged up toxic, it's going to feel shitty in the beginning, but it needs to, and it's okay.
Yep. I agree.
Before I knew that we were doing this episode today, and my mom's been doing colonics with me for 10 years, and she does enemas at home now, right? And I asked her, I was like, Mom, I need to know, like, what is your favorite part of an enema, you know? And she took a moment to think, and her answer, like, for her favorite part that she wanted me to share with everybody was that it's like that internal pressure goes away, you know, like the physical pressure, but also like you were just stating, like that emotional pressure, that just internal, like, it's like that is just so released, and you feel so spacious inside. You feel light. Like you just feel like I could just float away and I'm easy. Is that what you feel like, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a miracle every time, because you think, well, how is this really going to do that? And then it proves itself.
Right. And you find it especially with the emotional, spiritual stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because there's been a lot of times, right, where you and I are talking and I'm just like, I hear you, girl. Please go do an enema.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, because it really is, it's medicine for the soul even.
It's such a great tool. It's such a great tool.
And also, so everybody knows, enemas, they go back to ancient Egypt, you know? So it's like this is medicine that has been practiced in indigenous cultures and ancient cultures all over the world for at least 7,000 years now. You know, it's like we've known for so long that the gut is the portal, like it's a portal of consciousness, it's a portal of healing. It's a necessary aspect of like physical aspect for spiritual wellness.
And you think about like the times that you can't poop, like
hell.
And then when you finally do poop,
heaven,
you're like, what? I mean, it's like such a, it
like
is.
The curtains have been opened and you're like,
so this is your helper. This is your frenema. This is such an easy, amazing tool for your toolkit, for your spirituality, for your mental health, for your gut health.
Yeah. And if we can just say quickly here that, like, if anybody has healing to do, like if we're talking physical healing, if we're talking digestive tract, if we're talking inflammation, allergies, autoimmune, if basically like any type of, if you actually want to heal your body, it cannot fully happen if you don't purge whatever darkness, like physical darkness and muck and gunk is stuck in your colon. Like as long as that is inside of you, you can only be so mentally or physically well. Yes. You just, it can't be more. Do you know what I mean? It's like, let's pretend a whole house or a whole room in my house is covered in black mold, but I like decorate the rest of the house and invite people over for like dinner parties and stuff. But I got a room full of black mold. Yeah. Like no matter what, my house ain't going to sell. You know,
Yeah.
people are going to get sick in my house because I still have a room full of black mold that I'm ignoring.
Yes.
Is that a good analogy?
Such a great analogy.
Thank you. It just came to me right now. But really, right? It's like if the colon house of your home is all gunked up and it's got a whole bunch of things living in there that shouldn't be, and it's super toxic, it's like that stuff is going to fuck you up until you deal with it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I say that with so much love, but just to know that whatever it is in your body to heal, everything is attached to your gut, and nothing can get fully better until you deal with that. Period.
Yeah.
And let alone the spiritual stuff and everything.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're agreeing with us.
Yeah. Sorry for the pup noise, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that we need to wrap this.
Yeah.
We need to wrap this shit show up. Is there anything for you? I know that I've talked so much through this. Thank you for all of your questions. Thank you for holding great space. Thank you for holding up the diagram. That I hope you all check into the YouTube channel so that you can actually see my hands teaching on that diagram.
We're so lucky to have you teach us this. I feel so lucky because it's life changing. It's a game changer. Get intimate with your bowel. Right. And your poop chute. It's just like go. But yeah, this if you have any questions, if you want more information, DM us and we'll figure out ways to get you some information, and we have more stuff coming.
Absolutely.
Because this is your a huge pillar in your health. One of the biggest pillar, really, in my opinion.
Yeah, because again, we're simple tubes, and everybody's tubes are jacked up, and no wonder everything else is going wrong. It's so simple. It's so simple. And I'm sure from this conversation that we've probably have people now asking even more questions.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we just explained a whole bunch, but now people are going to probably be like, well, what about this? And what about this? And what about this though? So if this conversation is cultivating more questions that you have before you get started for yourself, DM us or email us or get in touch. And then we can make another episode that is now specifically answering your next specific questions about how to go about this.
Yeah.
And again, we're going to be holding space so that we can actually guide people through this whole journey for whoever wants their hand sacredly, integrally held through this. You know, I feel like I had one more thing to say, but I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
But yeah, guys, it's really good shit. None of it is scary. Like, of course, it's going to be it's going to be super weird the first time you do it. And then you're going to be like, okay, I got this. Right?
I was like, oh, I can't wait till tomorrow.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's really good. It's really necessary. It's so safe. And, you know, people will tell you like such silly ideas and stories, but like, right, understand that most people that are going to have opinions opposing what I'm sharing with you, first off, look at how healthy are they versus how healthy am I? If I can just say that, is that okay to say? Yeah. But then also like a lot of people that have, who have very strong opinions about this type of stuff, generally, these are people that have never experienced it and don't actually know what it is that they are judging or what it is that they are speaking of. So just, you know, with understanding that most people don't know about this stuff, so do not take everybody's opinions to heart if it's not actually an educated or experienced opinion. Okay, guys? Because you guys got us, you guys got us, and we are here for you because there's such necessity for this at this time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolute necessity.
Okay, good. So we want you guys to watch that Instagram live also because we cover so much. Send us whatever questions, comments, concerns that you may have. If you have really good jokes that I haven't heard of that are poop jokes or shit jokes or asshole jokes, please also send those our way. And again, we're so sorry for the big barking. Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to add to the story? But has it been life-changing for you and good for you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
For sure.
Okay, good. Okay, well, guys, I guess that's our time is up because I clearly have a situation to go deal with. So, send us your questions and everything, and we love you all so much, and we're gonna see you in the next episode.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, everybody. We love you.
Bye. We love you.